Their eternal emperor laughed at humanity, but his throne stood empty by dawn. The Zephyrian court erupted in laughter as Emperor Vexthor the Eternal displayed the holographic recording for the 1,000th time. On the shimmering display, a human, diplomat named Sarah Chen stood before the assembled Galactic Council, her voice steady despite the ridicule echoing through the chambers. "We formally request membership in the Galactic Federation," she had said, her small frame dwarfed by the towering alien representatives around her. "Humanity has much to offer." Vexthor's crystalline form pulsed with amusement, his 4 eyes gleaming with malice. For 3 millennia, he had ruled the Zephyrian Empire with an iron fist, expanding across 17 star systems through conquest and subjugation. His species had evolved beyond physical death, their consciousness transferred between synthetic bodies when the organic ones failed. He was, in every sense, eternal. "Look at them," he wheezed through his translator, addressing his court. "Barely 2 centuries since they discovered fire, and they think they belong among the stars. Their lifespans are measured in decades, their technology primitive, their bodies fragile flesh that breaks with the slightest pressure." The court's laughter intensified. General Crixnoth, his most trusted advisor, leaned forward. "Shall we demonstrate their insignificance, my emperor? A single destroyer could glass their entire homeworld." Vexthor waved a dismissive appendage. "No need to dirty our hands. Let the universe see what happens to such optimistic species. They'll destroy themselves within a generation, as all flesh-bound creatures do." But Sarah Chen had heard every word through the council's open channels. Her jaw tightened as she made careful notes, her diplomatic smile never wavering. When she returned to Earth 3 days later, she carried more than just the Federation's rejection. She carried intelligence. The humans had been studying the Zephyrians for months, ever since first contact. What the Empire didn't know was that humanity's greatest strength had never been their technology or their bodies. It was their ability to adapt, to learn, and most critically, to work together when survival was at stake. Dr. Marcus Webb, head of the Xenobiology Division, had made a crucial discovery while analyzing Zephyrian physiology. Their consciousness transfer process, he explained to the Emergency Council, relies on quantum entanglement between their synthetic bodies and their central processing matrix. But there's a vulnerability, a brief window during transfer where their consciousness exists in both states simultaneously. Sarah Chen studied the data with grim satisfaction. How brief? 17 seconds. During that window, a properly calibrated electromagnetic pulse could sever the connection permanently. But we'd need to hit every single transfer point simultaneously, across their entire empire. The plan that emerged was audacious beyond measure. While the Zephyrians laughed at humanity's request for Federation membership, human engineers worked around the clock. They didn't build weapons of mass destruction or planet-killing ships. Instead, they built something far more dangerous too, an immortal empire. They built a network. Every human ship, every satellite, every deep space probe was retrofitted with quantum communicators. Earth's entire population was mobilized not as soldiers, but as a single coordinated organism. The Zephyrians' dismissal of human technology had blinded them to its true potential, not raw power, but elegant interconnectedness. Captain Lisa Rodriguez commanded the stealth ship Defiance as it approached the Zephyrian capital world of Nextara. Her ship was one of thousands positioned throughout Zephyrian space, each crewed by volunteers who understood they likely wouldn't return home. "All units report ready," came Sarah Chen's voice over the quantum network. She had positioned herself, aboard the diplomatic vessel Hope's End, requesting one final audience with Emperor Vexthor. The Emperor received her in his throne room, a vast crystal palace suspended above Nexitara's purple seas. "Have you come to beg, little human?" he asked, his synthesized voice dripping with contempt. "I've come to deliver a message," Sarah replied calmly. "Humanity withdraws its application for Federation membership." Vexthor's laughter echoed through the chamber. "Wisdom at last. Your species has finally recognized its place in the cosmic order." "Yes," Sarah said, her hand moving to a small device at her belt. "We have." The device chirped once, a simple quantum signal that propagated instantly across the galaxy through humanity's hidden network. At that moment, 17,000 human vessels, stations, and installations activated their electromagnetic pulse generators simultaneously. The effect was devastating in its simplicity. Across the Zephyrian Empire, the Eternal Ones began their routine consciousness transfers, a process they performed daily to maintain their synthetic bodies. But this time, as their awareness flickered between flesh and machine, the quantum bridges that bound their immortal souls snapped like severed threads. Emperor Vexthor felt it first, a sudden, terrifying silence where his connection to eternity had been. His synthetic body seized as his consciousness, caught mid-transfer, found itself trapped in failing organic tissue. What have you done?" he gasped, his voice no longer augmented by synthetic modulators. Sarah Chen stood unmoved as chaos erupted throughout the palace. "You called us primitive, Your Eternal Majesty. You said our flesh was weak, our lifespans brief." She paused, watching as the Emperor's organic form began to convulse. "But you never understood that mortality isn't our weakness. It's our teacher. It taught us that every moment matters, every decision counts, and that true strength comes from accepting our limitations and overcoming them together." The Emperor's four eyes dimmed as his organic brain, unused to supporting consciousness without synthetic assistance, began to fail. Around him, his eternal court writhed in similar agony as 3 millennia of assumed immortality crumbled in 17 seconds. "The human ships will withdraw from your space in 72 hours, Sarah continued, her voice carrying over the palace's emergency alarms. "Any Zephyrian who wishes to learn how to live as mortals again will be welcome aboard our medical vessels. The choice is yours." By dawn on Nextara, the crystal throne of the Eternal Emperor sat empty, its occupant's remains already beginning to decompose. Throughout the Empire, the few Zephyrians who survived the transition faced a reality they had forgotten: the precious, fragile gift of a finite existence. Humanity never reapplied for Federation membership. They didn't need to. Within a year, 17 star systems had requested to join the newly formed human commonwealth, drawn not by fear of human weapons, but by admiration for a species that had turned mortality into their greatest strength. Sarah Chen often reflected on that day as she grew old gracefully, something no Zephyrian had done in 3,000 years. The Emperor had been right about one thing: humans were brief, fragile creatures of flesh and bone. But he had failed to understand that in accepting their mortality, they had discovered something far more valuable than eternal life. They had learned how to truly live.